Welcome into Fantasy AI. Moving on. All right, back in the computer room today. We're going to look at the top 10 running backs. Top 10 running backs before preseason starts. Things may change if we see some preseason action. As it goes right now, these are my top 10 running backs. Let's get started. Where do you get started looking? How about the 10 top rushing teams from last year? Be a good place to look for the top 10 running backs, right? All right, let's move on. How about Baltimore? Up first, top rushing team. 2,661 yards rushing last year. And I know what you're going to say, and I said it too. Hey, Lamar Jackson accounted for 821 of those. So isn't that why they're ranked so high on the rushing, right? Well, you take that away from them, and they end up 17th on the rushing thing, on the rushing leaders team rushing, and drop down to 1840, right? Well, you know what? Even Baker Mayfield and Brock Purdy got some yards running, so we should get at least what they got back, right? So that puts him at the team 11, rushing. If you let him have at least a couple hundred yards rushing, not penalize him. So next, Derrick Henry, right? We love him, all right? So obviously, Baltimore's in. Derrick Henry, Baltimore's in. All right, let's move on to Chicago next on the list. Well, Chicago's got the problem. They got the bird full nest problem. All right? Look at them all crammed in there. Well, you got Swift, Herbert, and Roschon Johnson, right? And begin with, Swift, I guess, would be your first one you'd think about. But we saw what happened in Carolina last year. High free agent signing comes from Philadelphia, goes to the new team, and, well, the new team ain't Philadelphia, right? They don't do as good. So, jury's out on Swift. We'll have to see how that turns out, but certainly not in the top 10. Chicago, too much full nest there. Moving on. How about San Francisco's up next? Of course. We're putting Christian McCaffrey in the top 10. Don't even need to talk about it. Moving on. Arizona's up next. Well, James Conner. I like him. Hey, he finished 15th last year, right? That 24th schedule I don't like. So he's not going to be in the top 10. But, hey, remember, Arizona's fourth in rushing. Let's keep an eye on them. I know Kyler Murray, you're thinking him, but hey, he only didn't play the whole season and they still were fourth. All right? So let's remember James Conner when it comes to sleepers or people they're pushing down. I just hope they keep pushing him down the rankings. Moving on. Next up is Detroit. Came in at fifth best rushing team, right? Well, they got a couple good ones. So we got Gibbs and Montgomery. Well, Bird, full nest peeking in here. We got full nest possibly here. No, wait a minute. They're the third team in offense last year. Fourth the year before. So perennial great offense in Detroit. They got it working. Probably will again this year. They're fifth in scoring. So you know what? There's enough to go around for both of them. Let's put them both up in there for now. All right? Moving on. Miami. Number one offense. Number 6, I think, in rushing. You had Mostert, right? Let's go back to him. We had getting ahead of myself. Mostert, 21 touchdowns last year. Whew! Number 2 in fantasy scoring, right, with all those touchdowns. Then you throw in A-Chain. One of the top running back per game averages. He had that explosive 55-point game. Whew! And then hot rookie Jalen Wright, right? Coming in, if one of those falter, he's coming in. Might get in a little bit anyway. So, the nest is forming. We got the full nest syndrome going there. All right, look how crowded. Those birds, next day I went out and took a picture, they were gone. They'd already flown. So that was the last day they all had to cram in that nest. But hey, Miami's just too full. There are too many things going on. So, got to cancel them. There's some good players there, but too much. Moving on to Buffalo. I know what you're thinking. Josh Allen peeking in. Wait, because Josh Allen got all those yards rushing too. Well, you know what? James Cook did finish 11th in fantasy. So if you're sniffing the top 10 like that, you're probably a candidate to get on. All right? And had a lot of receiving yards, so he gets on. Just he missed it by one line the year before, you get on the list. All right? Potential getting to be a top 10er. Next up is Barkley. All right? Philadelphia comes in. Hey, you know, you seen what? Hey, if they can do so good with the likes of Miles Sanders and Swift, how do you think they're going to do with Barkley up there? He finished 13th. Last year, we almost made the list anyway. Playing for the Giants, missed some games. Hey, easiest number 2 schedule. All right, go no further. He's in. All right, move him on. And Atlanta, Robinson, you see, you finished 9th, 5th schedule. Oh, in for sure. Moving on, Jonathan Taylor, last of the top 10. Indy finished 10th. Now, a little tougher for him, but you can see he finished 30th because he missed 6 games. Right, the average would have probably got him on there per game, but he's got that 30th tough schedule. We don't like that, but hey, he's in. Let's get him on there. All right. So we went through the top rushing teams, and we got 2, 4, 6, 8. So we're going to need to pick up a couple more to get them on that list. So let's go slip over to Team Viewer. Hey, welcome in. I took us outside today. Little field trip. All right, so what you see here is the teams on either side. San Francisco from the NFC is Vegas's top choice to make it into the Super Bowl. And as you further go out all the way down to Carolina, that's your furthest chance. Same thing on the AFC side. Kansas City has the top chance, all the way down to New England with the least chance to make it to the Super Bowl. So that's how I got it set up. So let's get started here. Going through the teams, we'll start off with San Francisco. Well, Christian McCaffrey's already on the list. We don't have to go any further there. We'll go over to Kansas City. Ooh, Kansas City has Isaiah Pacheco. What about him? Finished 16th last year. Love the team, right? You know, look at this. Number over here to the clipboard, we got him in the 9th team in total offense, 6th in the passing game, but the 19th on the rushing. But, you know, such a good team. And they did kind of focus more on the rushing last year, I thought. And you can see, we pop in and see his numbers. But I think for now we're going to go ahead and just honor the great team. And let's just put him on the list too. All right. So we're going to need to pop over to the list, put him on the list. We'll put on Pacheco. Made the list just because his team's so good. All right, moving on. So that's Kansas City. Let's move back over to NFC Detroit, where they're already on there. Pouncing back. Derrick Henry, Baltimore. They're already on the list. How about Zach Moss and Cincinnati? No, I mean, hey, we're not going to put him on the list. Then we pop over to Dallas. I mean, these are the number 3 shot from the NFC, and they've got Ezekiel Elliott ranked 38th. You know, on that number 3 team, and you go over to Cincinnati, yeah, the three spot from the AFC. We got Zach Moss here. They got him 25th at least, but 14th schedule. I don't know. Hey, they're not making obviously the top 10, but hey guys, we'll come back. We'll circle back around. We're looking for bargains on them. All right, over to Philadelphia next. Well, Barkley's already on the list. And switch over to the 4 on the AFC side. Cook's already on the list. Notice a lot of these good teams got a lot of their guys on the list. All right, so we already went. Ooh, Josh Jacobs. Hey, you know what? Maybe not from last year, but we've got to honor from what he did the year before, and he gets to make the list, right? So we're go back and put Josh Jacobs on the list just for the 2 years ago, what he did. So let's move back to keep surfing, get us a couple more on there and see if we've got any more candidates. Obviously, Atlanta's already on there, Bijan Robinson. And Houston, ooh, Joe Mixon here. Now, he finished 6th, right? Well, I can tell you right off, I don't like that number 29th schedule. See that? And Joe Mixon had solid game here, games with Cincinnati, right? So getting a little older, but what we got to come over here now? He's on a new team, Houston. Well, Houston had number 12 offense here. You can see on the clipboard, but 22nd in rushing. So a lot of that came on the back of C.J. Stroud in the passing. And when we're going over that passing, let's just look over real quick at. I got a lot of mouths to feed on the passing side. Nico Collins, right? Got Tank Dell and Diggs. I mean, right now they got 3 of them ranked in the top 30 at wide receiver. And the little secret is, look at that, wide receiver passing is 25th. And the quarterback schedule ain't that good. I don't know. I'm thinking a little down year for Houston here. You know, and you got Damian Pierce lurking here. You know, hey, one thing about him, I remember this. They said, hey, the big thing, this is a coach speak, but the big thing right now is to be in good condition, which he is. And I think that was a little bit of hint about what kind of condition he was in last year. So even though he finished 6th, got a new team, got a tough schedule, I'm going to leave Joe Mixon off, not put him on. So that was Houston. And we've already done Atlanta here. Let's go next to the Jets. Breece Hall. Well, he finished 7th last year, so, and let alone that he had 591 yards receiving. I'd put him on for that. So pretty well we know that he's going to be on the list. So let's go back and put Breece Hall on the list. And there he is. So, okay, well, at least we got 10 now. Moving back, so going back over to Team Viewer, where we were on the Jets. Miami, we went over already. Just too many mouths to feed there. We did Atlanta. Oh, last of the top row is the Rams. And Kyren Williams. Wow. Just explosive games. Number 3 last year. Don't like that number 19 schedule. And they brought in Blake Corum, everyone knows, to spell him now and then. But the big thing on him is going to be preseason. Let's see what happens. But, hey, he's going in, right? You got to put him in the list. So let's go back and put him on the list here. Kyren Williams enters. And we're almost done with the view. We got the top list. Bears? No. Just too crowded there. We'll go back over to the Chargers. I love the number 4 schedule, but I want to find out what happens to Dobbins in preseason and how much rookie is this rookie. But hey, there's nobody in the top 10 there. So we're moving on. Seattle. Kenneth Walker. No, too much sharing going on. Here's our next candidate, Rashard White. He finished 8th last year. You know, didn't even have 1,000 yards, but look at that receiving. That's how Breece Hall got on Sweezy. 549 yards receiving. If he gets 1,000 to go with it, the yardage alone will get him in there. But finished 8th. Okay, no more. He's going on. I got to go back and put him on. So, hey, we're up to well over 10 now. So, going back, looking, that was Tampa. Down to Minnesota. Aaron Jones, nothing. Kamara. Can you believe he's not going to be on the top 10 anymore? Well, last year he wasn't because of the suspension, but James Conner, we talked about him, just doesn't make the cut there. Brian Robinson Jr., no. And we'll finish up the NFC. Devin Singletary in Carolina, no. So we left off over here with the Chargers, no. Cleveland, woof. I can't wait for preseason to see what goes on there. I think a potential sleeper in this Jerome Ford. 6th easiest schedule. We ain't going through sleepers now. Moving on. All right, Travis Etienne got to go on. Finished 4th last year. Look at those games. All right. 400, talk about receiving, 476 yards receiving to go along with that rushing. So we don't stop anymore. Let's go back, put him on. Now we got a full load up there. So coming back, and we'll go through, finish up the teams. Oh, we love Pittsburgh. Going to sneak in and get us one of those. Indy, no. Zamir White, nothing there really. Tony Pollard, No. Javonte Williams, no. And New England, no. All right, so there we go. There's our finalist for the top 10. Right? So hold on, Fantasy AI rehash break. Rehashing an old episode. Round one coin flip, right? Well, what did we learn in that episode? Hey, in 2022, only 50% of the people ranked on the top 10 made it back or finished in the top 10. Preseason rankings going in. See the top 10 here? Highlighted in green are the ones that made it into the top 10. 50% that year. Coin flip. Well, look here. 2023, coin flip again. 50-50. Top 10 ranked. In green's the one that actually finished in the top 10. Right? So you can see that it's a coin flip we learned, even if you're in there. So just because you're getting in this top 10 ranking preseason doesn't mean you're going to finish in the top 10. So just goes to show that this is an artificial line, these top 10s. It's just some line drawn in the sand that really has no bearing on anything. But I also found out in this episode, or this video, doing this video, that it's taken way too long. So I'm not going to get them all ranked in this episode. I'll clearly mark that in the description and title. And the next video, I'm going to get them all ranked, but we're going to narrow it to the top 10. So moving on. So also, I just did a rule. And one of my fantasy rules is you don't pick. Further, just telling you it's not very important. Oh, this guy's in the top 10 and this one's not in the top 10. Here's some guys listed, 8th, 9th through 10th at running back, let's say. Here's the prices they went. Well, do I care? Oh, Theo's in the top 10. No, I don't care. Which one I like is the one that went the cheapest. Right? So that's what you're using. This top 10 is just an artificial thing, but we're going to do it. So the 10 people that I'm putting in here in no particular order are going to go on to the next show where I rank them. And let's get started. Jonathan Taylor is going to make the list. Going on to the next show. Probably doing it by order closest to the screen, but all right, Barkley makes it next. Christian McCaffrey's in next. We're going to go with him. Derrick Henry's surely going on to the next show. Bjorn Robinson's in for the next show. And top 10. And Breece Hall makes it into the top 10. Kyrene Williams into the next show. Going to get ranked. Josh Jacobs, what he did 2 years ago, is going to be in the top 10. Gibbs makes it to the top 10. All right, we're down to the last one position. We got 5 guys trying to get in there. And I brought up some stats to help us here. Well, we can see that I ranked it by fantasy average. Well, David Montgomery, 13.8. You got Travis Etienne there with 13.2. His is pretty good. You can see that I also put the schedule. Who's got the easier schedule for next year? All right, and I put on the offensive line. I sat and hemmed, hauled around, and trying to figure out, man, this is tight. Which one can we get in there? And all I could keep thinking about is Jamal Williams. All right, we look at his career here. What's the exciting time for him is when he finished number 7 overall. The only thing that stands out in his career when he was the touchdown back for the Detroit Lions. You see, he got 17. Then he moved on to the Saints, was nothing special. So I think David Montgomery's a little better running back than he is. What position does David Montgomery have? Is the touchdown back in Detroit. And we just seen how many, 13.8. That's higher than some of these guys on the list, most of them. So obviously David Montgomery goes on the list. Now, these other 4 guys, are they worth no? They're 50 coin flip chance of them being in the top 10. Just being on the outside of it. So you just really don't know. So coin flip is going to get them into the top 10 or not. So I don't know how important this top 10 list is. Because, hey, I'm liable to take somebody ranked 11th just as much. But See you in the next show. Got no short in this one. So, hey, if you're liking what you're seeing, please hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that like and subscribe. All right.